What's up, gang? Welcome to another exciting episode of 16 Steps. My name is Jason, and I am your host. Today, we're going to talk about the machines on the Analog Rytm from Electron. For those of you that don't know, each of the drum sounds has like a specific little machine that you can use to generate the sounds. And in this video, I'm going to try and demonstrate some of the sound quality of those different machines and show maybe some of the parameters on each of the machines. And I'll see you at the other side of this. We're back with the Analog Rytm, and what we're going to do is go through these sounds real quick. I'm going to kind of avoid talking about everything, but we'll see how this goes. So you can see hard, classic, FM, plastic, silky, sharp, dual VCO, and then there's some snare drums, and of course disable, impulse, and noise generator. So let's start with hard. And then we got tune, sweep time, snap amount, decay, waveform, hold time, which I'm not entirely sure. And this is tick. Okay, so those are all of the controls for the hard. Let's go classic. So classic gives us tune. Sweep time. Sweep depth. Decay. We get a hold time. Which is, I guess, makes more sense if you have nothing else going on. You get a selection of waveforms. And then this is the transient type. So this is pretty cool. That's just the sound at the beginning. And you can see that there are different types, A through E, and then there are levels for how much of that transient you want to come through. So you see that the transient is just at the beginning. And you can turn the volume down by doing like that. FM. FM, you get tune, sweep time, FM decay time, and then this is the overall decay time. This is FM amount, this is the tune for the FM. So that's just for like the modulator. This is for the overall tune of the and this is sweep time for the modulator. Can you hear that? And then this is the amount. So that's pretty awesome. And then we got plastic, which sounds amazing right out of the gate, of course. You get tune, sweep time, sweep depth, decay, mod type, amount, tick, Silky, sweep time, sweep depth, and you get a hold time. The dust level, it's kind of hard to hear. Not sure it's going to show up on YouTube. VCO click, that's just a little bit at the very beginning. Let's see. So there you can hear it. That's just that click. There's no click. Alright. Moving on down to sharp. Of course we get tune. We get sweep time, sweep depth, decay, hold time, the tick level. There's full tick, zero tick, and then we got wave. And for these different waves, if you notice that some of them have a little dot on the front part of that waveform. That little dot means that the waveform re-triggers every time. Okay, so dual VCO. Dual VCO is like a synthesizer. It's like of course, dual VCO, 2 VCO, mono synth sound. This one you get a lot of different options because these are different configurations of each of the oscillators. So you see it's got like a plus in the middle, so the one on the left is oscillator 1, the one on the right is oscillator 2, and then you can kind of go through all of these different configurations to see which one's which. I'm not entirely sure what that filter and amp is. I'm guessing that it's like, yeah, let's see how that sounds. That's cool. You can detune the oscillators. I'm not sure why you get 2 decays. Probably one for each oscillator. This is the balance of the oscillators and the bend. So while this is a drum machine and the synthesis for most of these are 4 drums, you do have the dual VCO, which gives you a little mono synth on there. So let's go to the snare drum. I'm going to take that trigger off. So next we're going to work at snare drum. The 4 on this bottom row, they all have the same type of synthesis available to them, with the exception of the Rimshot and the clap have the extra 2 for Rimshot and clap. And the difference between these two are that they cut each other off. So it's kind of like the thing with the hi-hat. So if you're playing an open hi-hat, you wouldn't have a closed hi-hat sounding at the same time. It would shut off the open hi-hat. Same thing with these two. So you can see that there's this little graphic in between these. These mean that the one on the right is cut off by the one on the left. We're going to look at the snare sounds on the snare pad. So you'll see that it starts kind of on the snare, right? As soon as I hit that, it goes to snare, but you can go through that list and see that there are other ones available. Same thing with the Rimshot. Rimshot Hard, Rimshot Classic. Clap Classic. That's the only clap. That's the only clap that they have available. But we're going to go through and look at some of these snares. This is the basic one. You get a decay time. There's tune, sweep time, sweep depth, the tick, mod level, You know, I don't hear a whole lot of stuff going on with this tick time, tick level, sorry. Oh, there it is. And this is a noise. So this is kind of like a 2 oscillator thing, with one of the oscillators being a noise oscillator. So we got yeah. So that is the hard snare drum. Then there's classic. There's more of like an 808 style. You get tune, of course. You get detune, balance. So this is the bottom. Would be my guess. but I might be wrong. Okay. There's something. Snap amount. Noise decay. So we see that the noise oscillator is not one of the two oscillators. A little confusing to my brain. So this is FM. Get an FM snare. Yes. FM tune. FM decay time. Decay amount for the whole thing. You get FM amount. Noise decay. Noise level. And that's overall level on all of the sounds. Okay, and we get natural, which I'm guessing is supposed to sound more like a snare. Can tune it. Decay time for the noise. Balance. There's one oscillator. There's the noise oscillator. Bend or body decay. That's kind of like a hold time, I guess. Very cool. High pass filter for just the noise part. Low pass filter. Cool. And some resonance. Very cool. Now that's it for snares. Let's take a look at the Rimshot hard. There's our Rimshot. So you can tune it. Sweep time. Sweep depth. Decay. Symmetry. Noise level. Tick. So you can get creative here. You don't have to make your Rimshot sound like a Rimshot, because obviously this doesn't really sound like a Rimshot. But what you can do, if you get too far off course, you can always hit no or reload and hit sound, and there you go. We're right back to what it's supposed to sound like. Rimshot Classic. You get two oscillators that you can detune. There's the balance between the two. And a decay time. Symmetry. Tick. Noise level. Get some pretty crazy stuff on this. And the other cool thing that you can do with any of the sounds is go to chromatic mode. How tight is that? All right, that's it for rim shots. Let's go over to clap. There's only one clap engine, and it's called Clap Classic. Let's see, let's go back to this dude, take that off, put him on there. There's a clap. The analog clap thing, I'm not sold on this. So this is the noise level. You get clap rate, number of claps, how many random claps, and then clap decay. Noise tone. So there's a lot of noise decay. But if you look at claps, there's not a lot happening here. This is the part just at the front. Yeah. So, a lot of that stuff doesn't really sound like a clap to me. It's cool. I mean, I guess there's not much you can do. Clap sounds like a clap. And of course you can, filter that some and get some different effects, but I'm just going to go ahead and go back to clap, because there you go. Tone. In my opinion, the clap is the weak link. Okay, let's go on to the bass. The toms. The toms are all in the middle. We got a bass tom, low tom, mid tom, high tom. So we're going to, we're going to look at this one. Let's go ahead and make like a little rhythm on this one, so we're not just listening to one thing at a time. We get tune. Okay, because I'm a dummy. Okay, so let's look at the toms. We got bass tom, low tom, mid tom, high tom. So we got this one selected, and we look at the source, we get bass tom classic, and then of course the other ones, noise generator, impulse, and disable. Bass tom classic, you get a tune, you get decay, you also get snap amount, noise level, overall volume level. Let's go ahead and record a little. Let's go ahead and record a little something here. This is just my bass tom. So I've taken it out of record mode so I can now tweak. Cool. So there's our bass tom. That is a pretty cool oscillator on that one. It's like it's good for extra kick drums. So maybe you know, like a sub bass kind of thing can work there. Let's look at low tom. So low tom, you get XT classic, which just means tom classic, and if you notice, you get the same synth engine on these three: low tom, mid tom, high tom. However, mid tom and high tom will shut each other off. They are a choke group, meaning one chokes off the other. And of course you get noise generator, impulse, and disable on all of the pads. So let's go ahead and look at tom classic. So here we go. Let's make a little tom rhythm. Now because I put that in, you know, the velocities are going to be different. And so for this one, the velocity is 64. This one, it's 28. So what we can do is change these velocities, or you can assign different things to react to that velocity difference. Now when you program drums, that's something you probably want to do. I'm going to leave that for another day. I'm going to go ahead and make all of these 128. So that's the maximum velocity you can get. So they're all just hitting hard. So we're going to look at, we're on the tom classic, XT classic. You get tune. So even though this is your high tom, you can make it lower than the other toms. Sweep time. Sweep depth. Tone of the noise. Noise decay. So that's cool. What we can do is, let's see if we can do this. Save sound. We'll call this one Tom's Diner. And we'll tag it as Tom. Let's see, are there any other things that we can... let's just say it's a fail, and then save it. Oh, I can also save mine. Save it. So that's our sound. So it is now saved. That's our sound, right? So if we go to this track, and then we will go to sound browser, we can go Tom's Diner. And you'll also notice when you have the pad selected and you go to load the sounds, so we go to sound browser, you see how these are kind of lit differently. That means that these three can use that same sound. So we'll go ahead, we'll load Tom's Diner to all three of them. Now what we'll do is exit out of that. We'll go here and we'll take this sound and we'll pitch it down a few. So that one's at 17. And then we'll go to this one and we'll make it lower. So then we got... Does that make sense? So you can you can share those. And you hear how this one cuts the other one off? This one, it's the one on the right, it clips off the one on the left. So there is your set of toms. Let's move on to the hi-hats. We can do something similar here. Look at these. We got closed classic, closed metallic, open classic, open metallic, hi-hat basic. And of course, we also have noise generator, impulse, and disable. We're going to start with closed hat classic. Let's do this. Take all of our toms off. Then we get a tune. Decay. Noise color. Okay. Let's go to metallic. You get tune and decay. So these are just basic waveforms. This is just the synthesis. It's not filter or amp envelope or LFO on anything, but you can do that deeper in there. Just keep in mind that this is just kind of like the basic building block for your closed hi-hat sound. We can go back and let's go to hi-hat basic. You get tune, tone, transient decay, overall decay. And this is oscillator reset. One thing that I like to do, similar to with the tom sounds, is make the open hi-hat, work on making the open hi-hat, and then save that, copy it to the closed, and just cut the decay. One cool thing that you can do with the hi-hats, aside from using the hi-hat engines, this is a good spot to go into the noise generator. So this is the noise generator oscillator. We're going to go ahead, take all of those off. I'm going to select this one instead. Let's see. Let's do this beat. So this is our open hi-hat. Get low pass Q or resonance. Attack, decay. You get high pass, sweep depth, sweep time. So these are good things to map to velocity if you're gonna take the work to do that stuff. Things like sweep time, sweep depth, the high, all of the, you can, I think, map 5 at a time to the velocity. Save that for another video. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and make this my open hi-hat sound. I agree that's a very electronic sounding open hi-hat, but you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. Let's go ahead and save sound. We'll save it in that slot, and we'll call it Crafty Hat. There we go. This is a hi-hat. It's also vintage, definitely vintage. Okay, let's save it. So we'll go to this track, go to the sound browser, Crafty Hat, which you can see it lights up all of them because you can load that noise oscillator on any of the pads. I keep saying that. So there's Crafty Hat, and it sounds like the same exact thing. But what we're going to do is we're going to So let's see, this is how this works. Dig that? Pretty terrible, but it's just to demonstrate. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that because it's the worst. Pattern reloaded. So then we're going to move on to the cymbal, which is pad 11, and you'll notice that these two choke each other off. And we're going to look at Cymbal Classic first. You get tune, tone, decay, color, the noise, so those are very touchy controls. Metallic, we get tune, tone, transient decay, and then overall decay. All right, let's go to ride cymbal. Type, so you get tune, type, you get the hit decay, overall decay, and down here you'll see C1, C2, C3, component 1, component 2, component 3. These are really good things to assign to velocity so that it's not the same every time. And if you're going to play it like instead of just having velocity going to volume, you could have it going to C1, C2, C3, which is pretty cool. So you can also put the Cowbell on cymbal because these two are the same type of synthesis. You also get, of course, noise generator, impulse, and disable. Let's move on to Cowbell. Everybody's favorite, right? Oh, let's take these off first, put that on. What kind of cowbell we got here? Let's do oh yeah, we got tune, decay, detune, level. Not very exciting. Cowbell metallic. Decay. We get a detune. Okay, so that was a long video about the different machines that are available on the Elektron Analog Rytm MKII. I believe all of these carry over from the one. But I'm going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to have different videos for different pieces of gear, and I'll do a separate video for just kind of updates and what's going on in real life over here. There's a lot of changes. I'll get to that in one of those aforementioned update videos. But I don't have any like working titles for anything yet or anything like that. But stay tuned. Lots more to come. I'll see you next time. Peace.